Okay, so if you remember, to make decisions, or one of the easiest ways to make decisions in a program is using an if statement. We're comparing if something happened and we have a decision that something we do in the situation that something happened, and then we have an alternative in case that thing didn't happen. But sometimes maybe you want to decide between multiple things. Okay, so here we have a program that asks for the user to input some value between 1 and 10, and we're going to turn that into an integer. Okay, so we make sure it's so we're going to, because the raw input, remember, takes it as a string, so this will convert that string into integer. So now we have an integer stored here. It's a number, so we can do comparisons with it. And let's say that for this program, if it is between 1 and 3, we'll say maybe, how about we do this? A number between 1 and 24, and let's say that they're times. Okay, and so we'll say if it's between 1 and let's say if it's between 5 and, we'll say between 4 and 12, say good morning. If it is between 12 and, we'll say let's say maybe like, so let's say 12 and 6, so 6 would be 18, say good afternoon. And if it is between 19 and 18 and 24, or less than 4, say good evening. Okay? Alright, so the way we would do this is we have to make some decisions. So the first thing is we'll take the number and we'll see if the number is between 4 and 12. And so the way we are going to do that, if we're going to say if number is less than or equal to 4 and number is greater than, or sorry, it should be greater than or equal to 4 and less than or equal to 12. So what we're saying here is if the number is between 4 and 12, and we'll say less than 12. Okay? In this case, we're going to say, so we're going to print good morning. Okay? Now, the else here is so that we can say everything else. But the problem is we still have to make another decision. So what we do is we use something called an else if. Okay? And it basically makes another decision for us. And so the next thing we're going to test is if number is greater than or equal to, sorry, there's no is there, number greater than or equal to 12, and, sorry about these is signs, you're not supposed to put an is there, and number is less than 18, we're going to print good afternoon. And you can see that I'm being a little bit sloppy. Like here I use the parentheses with print. You don't need to use parentheses with print. Okay? And we could finally say else print good evening. Okay? But there is another scenario that could come up, because what if the person typed a number bigger than 24? okay? And so if we wanted to, we could keep the program like this, okay? Oh, and I already have a mistake. All right, let's see. If, okay, sorry, my apologies. So I made actually a mistake here. In Python, instead of using else if like this, it's elif like that. And it's just abbreviation for else if. So it should work now. So we're going to type a number between 1 and 24. Let's type the number 15. And it says good afternoon because it's 3 o'clock, it's the afternoon. We could run it again, type a number between 1 and 24. We could do 30 and it says good evening. The problem is here that 30 is not a time. Okay, and so the way that we can get around this problem is to do another elif. Okay, we could stop here or we could do another elif. And the elif we'll use is that number is, and this is a little tricky because we have a pretty long statement here. We need to know that the number is less than, so greater than or equal to 0, and less than 4. So if this is true, it will work. Or if number is greater than or equal to 18 and number is less than 24. Okay, and so actually if we run this program now, it's going to say, we'll say less than or equal to 24. Okay, we'll say greater than 0. Okay. Alright, so now when we run this, it's going to print good evening only if it fits in there, and we can say else print not a valid input. Okay, so now we could try it again. So a number between 1 and 24, 5, good morning. Okay, number between 1 and 24, 2, good evening. Number between 1 and 24, 24, good evening. Okay, what about negative 1? Not a valid input. Okay, what about 25? Not a valid input. Okay, and so now this program gives you a different response, basically, say, depending on what time of day it is. So maybe we could alter to say, give the time as a value between 1 and 24. Okay, so give the time as a value between 1 and 24, and we'll say 15. Good afternoon. Okay, so here's a short little Python program to demonstrate the elif statement.